Cravers and hello, fellow Cravers, and welcome to another top 5 games that we've played in 2015. So far, this is now the 4th day that we've done this, and this time we have Billy here. How are you doing, Billy?
I'm great. You?
I'm doing very well. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas?
Oh, come on, it is December now, technically. So we can say that, and this will be coming out on the 12th. So, oh, not the 12th.
Day of Christmas.
No, the 9th. Something like that. Close around that time, yeah.
9th day of Christmas. My YouTube subscriber gave to me a top 5 for Billy Boomers.
Not the best of rhymes, is it, mate?
I don't know. I don't rhyme.
Anyway, mate, let's just go through the rules before, so other people who are listening to this probably the first time understand what our rules of the top 5 are. First of all, it's got to be a game that has been completed. So, in other words, you cannot have games like Minecraft Story Mode because there's still 2 more episodes to come out for that. And you can't have games that you've only played the beta of, even though the game might be out now, like for example Siege or Just Cause Free. You can't add those to your list. Rule 2 is that you can have any game up to November 2015. We don't add December 2015 because a few of us, we started doing this in November. It just makes sense. And plus we won't actually have a full experience of those December games, will we?
Sorry, Shimmy's messaging me about Brawl Finley, and I'm telling him I've already installed it. I know.
Thank you, Shimmy.
Shimmy.
And rule 3 is basically that you can have any game as long as you've played it first time in 2015. And the rule with the remasters is that if you've played a game before, if you've played the original game before 2015, you cannot have it in your list. So, for example, like Kaj had Borderlands the pre-sequel. Now, that game came out 2014 on the PS3 and Xbox 360, but he played it first time in 2015 with the Handsome Collection. So he was allowed to have that.
Yeah.
So, yep. Fully understand the rules, mate?
Yep, no problem.
So, what is your first game that you're going to...
The first game in my top 5 I'm going to mention is Splatoon.
I'm not surprised.
Yes, it's a Nintendo Wii U game. I know, right?
I know.
Probably the first one and probably the only list that's going to consist of Wii U games. So,
oh, yeah.
Would you like me to go through what Splatoon is?
Well, everyone knows what Splatoon is. It's basically a third-person shooter with ink water guns, isn't it, basically?
Yes. And you're a kid now, and now then you're a squid now.
And then you're a kid, and then you're a squid, and then you're a kid. Yeah, we go.
So, why I've put this in my top 5, because very fresh IP, which is a very rare thing you could say about a Nintendo game. You know, I don't think anyone expected this game to come out, and it was surprisingly well received and very good. Definitely must buy for the Wii U. So
it was one of those games that did actually sell some Wii U's though as well, which, like you said, is weird for a new IP. And then again, like you said also, this is a new IP, which is weird for Nintendo. They haven't done one for. Well, I think it was the Wii. Did they have a new IP on the Wii?
On the original Wii?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had a few.
They've had a few, but it's been a while since they've had a new one this popular.
This one that's just hit straight into the mainstream. You know, that's gone up to the leagues of their main IP. I mean, this game's sold better than most of their original IPs, like Metroid.
Oh, that still hurts you in your heart a little bit, doesn't it?
I know. I wish I could have one of them games on this list, but none came out.
Well, I ended up playing the was it the Test Fire?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't enjoy it, but that was because I didn't know that you could turn off the gamepad's motion sensor.
The motion sensors is unplayable, but thank God it's optional.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, the thing is, we know it's a great game because we've seen we was on about the Game Awards on the podcast, and they've been up for nomination on many awards, including Game of the Year.
Definitely.
Yeah,
it's definitely a contender. I wouldn't say it is like Game of the Year material, but it's definitely a fun game, and I'd definitely recommend you to pick it up if you already have a Wii U.
And plus, if you have got a Wii U as well,
you must be a very small bunch if you've got a Wii U and you haven't got Splatoon, though. I've got to say,
I'm in a very small bunch. Thank you very much.
Like, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go and get Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival.
What the fuck?
Anyway, mate, your second game on your
My
top
second
5.
game is not a Nintendo game. It is Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
Well, you're a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z, aren't you?
Yes, I've been watching Dragon Ball Z since I was probably 8 years old. So.
Then again, aren't you a fan of animes in general?
I'm not a huge fan of animes. I'll get stuck into some of I would say I've got about 3 or 4 animes that I actually really enjoy, but the rest I've sort of skimmed over and I didn't really care for. But Dragon Ball Z is like the one that's probably closest to my heart. I guess my big.
Well, at the moment you're in the middle of watching through all the Dragon Ball Zs.
Yeah,
on
right
Blu-ray,
now.
aren't you?
Yeah, right now I'm collecting them all.
So why Xenoverse in your top 5 anyway?
Well, we've had loads of Dragon Ball Z games, haven't we?
Yes.
And how many times have we had to retell the story? We've gone through the Saiyan, Frieza, Cell Saga, we've all been there, done that, got the T-shirt. We've had enough. It's getting a bit repetitive now.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Xenoverse takes a spin on it. It lets you create your own character, whether it be human, Saiyan, Namekian, a Frieza, Majin class.
Yeah,
Margin. So you get to create your own class, and he's a time traveler that's going to go, and there's other time travelers, and they're messing up key events in the Dragon Balls. Also, it gives loads of what if scenarios, what if Raditz killed Piccolo and Goku, and you got to save them, and
Well, that's one of the first things you have to do, isn't it? That Raditz breaks away from Goku, so Piccolo still ends up killing Goku.
And you get I think the best scenario is when Captain Ginyu steals Vegeta's body, and you just see him posing in the Ginyu pose. I think that's my favourite bit.
The problem is, I ended up playing Dragon Ball Xenoverse as well on the Xbox, and unfortunately, because of a certain abridged series of Dragon Ball Z, it's kind of, I keep looking at Vegeta and thinking, yeah, he's still a badass in this, and I can't stop looking at Goku thinking he's an absolute idiot.
Yeah. Well, funny you mentioned Dragon Ball Z abridged, because did you know that one of the default voices you can have for your custom character is voiced by Takahut 101, which is the voice of Nappa in Dragon Ball Z abridged.
Why did I not do that? I want to find that now.
Yeah, and his voice is brilliant because he mispronounces all the attacks.
Okay. I've got to get that. I've got to find that now. That's
say if you've got special beam camera and you go Macabuzz, how in the joke it's he can't pronounce it, so he goes, the hell with it, special beam cannon.
Anyway, mate, let's move on to your next one. What is your third game in your
My third one, back into the Wii U. Tired again. I have Super Mario Maker.
No, I agree. That is a brilliant game. The only problem is with me, I can't get through my head that it's more of a tool than a game. But
you said it's a game. Right.
I know what you mean. Why Mario Maker anyway?
Right, Mario Maker. First of all, the create aspect of it is very intuitive, very easy to use. Anyone can make a level. You don't have to be a developer, a artist, anyone. It's very simple, simplistic to use, straight, easy to use. You'd be a pro at making levels in a matter of minutes. The sharing features of the levels is great. There's fucking millions you can use. You can go on famous YouTubers, famous other people, and enjoy. Yeah, Ross. But there's plenty of opportunity. Probably the one game that I'd say amiibos have been utilised fantastically, because you get to, when you pop your amiibo on it and you get to play as that character.
Well, the
in
thing
the game.
is, there's one
and you
thing...
don't have to have the amiibo either to play the game. You can unlock them or just go on other people's levels who have them already unlocked.
Yeah, the thing is, that's what I was going to say. It's a nice touch where you've got other games on the Wii U that has amiibo support.
Amiibo should be a bonus, not a DLC.
Exactly. And it's nice to see that
it's cosmetic as well, so you don't you don't lose out if you don't have it.
Actually, it's the most fun parts is when you press up on the D-pad and they do the little. You gotta love Link in that game. But yeah, I completely agree. I've enjoyed playing Mario Maker as well. It's one of those one of the rare games I ended up getting on the Wii U. Okay, I haven't properly utilized it as much as you have, because I haven't made any levels, but I have played quite a few of the levels, including your first 9 and a few others. And my favourite moment, especially of this year, is always going to be where you challenged me on one of your levels, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go through with them. 9 more to go, 8 more to go, 7 more to go.
That's when I first died, so I didn't know how to be so twisted, but then I got better.
Yeah, by the way, that's one thing I'm going to point out about Mario Maker. It is basically Torture Simulator 2015. Or an automatic level editor 2015. That's all I got from that at the moment. Stupid automatic levels. I bet you've made one.
No, I haven't actually. I don't really.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's a bit overkill. Like, I think it's a bit. That's one thing I don't like about the game is its ranking system. Because if you look at the top 20 most popular Mario Makers, they're all automatics or music.
Yeah.
Ones. Music ones I feel like is a little better because at least you've got to have some thought put into it. You've got to understand notes and stuff like that. Like, you've got to understand tones and stuff like that. Automatics, it's like, right, I'm going to put this here and see how far Mario gets until he dies. Right, instead of that, then I'm going to bounce him over here so he don't die. And that's how you make an automatic.
But either way, it's a brilliant game. And I think it's nice to... It's 30 years of Super Mario Brothers this year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's nice to honour that by actually giving a type of tool for you to design your own levels with it. I think they said that this is one of the tools that they technically, this is the way they would have made a level anyway.
It was originally going to be designed as a tool for the developers to create Mario levels anyway, like, and then they thought, actually this is pretty fun, let's make this into a game.
Yeah. And it's in my opinion also, it's the Mario Paint of the Wii U.
Yes. Yes, its inspiration was used a lot from the Paint games. There's a lot of assets from Paint that you can, little Easter eggs from that, like the Fly game as well, where you can swap flyers and stuff like that. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I didn't expect myself to enjoy it so much. When I first saw it on E3, I was like, I don't, it's Mario. I've played this before. It's not a big deal. But then slowly, every time I saw a bit of Mario Maker like being announced, I thought, that's really cool. That's an interesting idea. Wow, that's been cool. Oh look, it does the amiibo. Oh, and then suddenly I've got 6 amiibo.
You can actually play a good Sonic level again.
Yeah.
Anyway, mate, let's move on to your next one. What is next in your game?
My next one is a game that originally came out in 2011, but it got a remake on the new 3DS and has been first released on the Wii U eShop, which is when I played it this year.
Right, okay.
It's called Xenoblade Chronicles, the original.
Right, 10's just come out. Now, the reason 10 you can't add on your list because it's a December one, isn't it?
I wouldn't even if you did let me, because I thought it's unfair to play that game in such a short amount of time and go, yeah, that's top 5.
Technically, the game hasn't even come out. It doesn't come out until
Friday of recording. I was thinking about delaying my top 5 until I've had a week of playing that game, and
then I told you about the December rule.
But no, before you told me that, I was thinking, nah, you know what, not gonna bother that. That's why I decided myself, didn't I?
So, first of all, explain us a little bit about Xenoblade to those who don't understand it, right. Because I'm one of those. I've seen it, but I have all I understand from it is that there's this British kid that I really do not like. So,
right, Xenoblade is about. Right, I'm gonna explain this. This is the problem with JRPGs. JRPGs, it's a lot in it. Like to I mean, trying to explain Final Fantasy is stuff can take you all day. But Xenoblade Chronicles, it's about a boy wants to get revenge on a metal army that's been plaguing his civilization. They're killing people.
Right.
Blah 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 blah. He comes across a sword that no one else can use but him, that gives him visions of the future, of bleak futures that he can change. So he's traveling on, to get revenge. It's a really good game. I
know. 1 minute. I'm just thinking. Right. So there's this guy who wants to fight these robots.
The problem is, I'm trying to keep this as spoiler-free as possible.
I know you are trying to keep it as spoiler-free as possible.
Because there are a lot of spoilers even in the very
Terminator,
beginning of the game.
Really?
So right. So I can't talk that much about it. I'm just going to tell you, like...
So, why Xenoblade, first of all?
Xenoblade Chronicles is a game that got me back into RPGs. I think I had a big, long hiatus from RPGs, and I think the last one I really cared for was actually... I played Final Fantasy X, and I think I started going a bit away from straining them. I could never really complete one. I never had the patience for them. But this one, the moment I played it, I could drop it until I finished it.
Fair enough.
And then I played New Game Plus.
Right.
It's got a very fast-paced combat system. It's just straight in the battles. It's all about your position in the battle. You know, like what attack you should use if you're on the side. It's about aggro. Like you want to concentrate the enemy's attention on your buffed-up characters that got loads of health, while your less health characters that can do more damage, hit them in the back.
Okay.
So it's got an interesting system. Story's good, characters are interesting, a lot of tongue-in-cheek humour. It's a lot of fun, serious moments, and love the ending as well.
Now, about Xenoblade, you said that it's on the 3DS. Now you have to have the new 3DS to play this one, don't you?
Yes, this is the only game that you need new 3DS because of its stronger processor.
So, would you recommend someone getting the new 3DS just to play this game?
I recommend if you're in Europe, because mind you, the Wii U eShop is only out in Europe.
Really?
It's not out in Japan. It's not out in America. It's only out in Europe, which is so fucking weird. It's like opposite day with that one. It's like normally it's like Europe.
Are we now Nintendo? Wait, is that the only good Nintendo thing we get here? Is that we've got this stock? And
what a game! Because to be honest, like it's a game that I've been wanting to play for like many years, but it never warranted price. Because if you look on the Wii prices, it's normally like 50 quid or something like that.
God, yeah, I've seen
that. And I'm like, no, it's not worth that. But now I've played it for 15 quid. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's really fun.
So
it's one of the few games I really enjoy just playing on the gamepad.
Yep.
Because obviously it's a Wii game, so graphics are very toned down. You know, standard Wii game. You know what their graphics were like. It looks very. The character models look like a PS2 game, but
then again, PS2 games is still quite great.
But the environment itself looks fantastic. It looks really beautiful. It looks amazing. Very big open areas. You'd be amazed that this was a Wii game.
Right. So, anyway, Billy, time for your last of your top 5?
My last top 5, I think, is no surprise to anyone.
Is it Metroid?
I wish. Nope, it's got Metroid in it. It's Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U.
Alright, this is a game that came out in, was it November 2014? Yep,
it came out on November 28th, 2014.
So it was very
January.
Yeah, but you played in January, of course, because like we've said, you had your Wii U and your PS4 this year, didn't you?
Yes.
And I highly agree, because that is the one game that made me get a Wii U.
Yes. It's the same thing for me. I won't that count. I didn't think the Wii U had enough games that interested me. It had like remakes that I was like, yeah, I'd love a remake of that, but I'm not buying a whole console for a fucking remake. But this game was like, oh, it's original. It looks better than ever. It looks so much better than Brawl, and it is better than Brawl in so many ways. Melee's, I'm sorry to say, I know it's very controversial. I know like people playing it on Twitch, and it's most competitive Nintendo game in the world.
Weird,
but Melee is dated. It's getting old now.
You say one thing. You say Millie. I'm just hearing Kaj in the back of my head going, "It's melee, it's melee,
Melee,
it's melee."
There's loads of E's in it. That's why it's Melee. Not melee, because there's no A.
But yeah, like I said, I completely agree with you with Smash Bros. It's one of those games where can make you buy a console. I think it did it with the Wii with Melee and whatever the other ones were on. And it's always been great every time the iteration it comes out.
Smash Bros is a series I've been playing since the very first on the Nintendo 64, and it's just grown and grown. Like, we're getting more and more characters, more fun, interesting stages and stuff like that. It's always a big celebration for any Nintendo fan to enjoy. You're always guaranteed to have a character you love in the game, whether you're a Nintendo fan or not. Cloud Strife.
we can mention that because we are talking about this, but yeah, that's one thing that if you are looking into getting a Wii U, I would say now there is plenty of great games there for you to play. You've got Mario Kart 8, you've got Smash Bros, you've got Splatoon, but more importantly with Smash Bros, they're still adding characters as we speak. I think they're supposed to be adding more. In
December, we're getting more announcements, and I reckon that's the release time of Cloud Strife.
Yeah, but that's another thing. We're getting Cloud Strife, a character that has only appeared once, did you say, on...
He's appeared in spin-off games.
He's on Kingdom Hearts. I forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's usually... Final Fantasy VII itself has never actually come on Nintendo consoles.
No, the 7. So it's really weird because I feel like with Final Fantasy VII, that was the big drop for Nintendo.
Yeah.
That was a big staple to me because Final Fantasy was a game that was always on Nintendo systems from 1 to 6, and then it was popular because of Nintendo, like not Nintendo, but those games were really popular then before Final Fantasy 7. But then 7, they wanted to do the FMVs, they didn't want to use it on a cartridge, they wouldn't have enough storage, so they moved on to PS1, and then they made JRPGs mainstream.
Yeah, basically, and I would say also that Final Fantasy made the PS1 popular, and now look at us, we've got Sony PS4 as the most popular console of this generation. So we can't deny it because it's true.
Well, the thing is, it's just even more awkward when Nintendo's the one that inadvertently created the PlayStation.
I know, it's weird. Nintendo's done so much for Sony.
I know, they should thank at least give them a thank you card.
Right, before we finish the top 5, I've just got one more question to ask you, and it is about a rumour that is going around about the NX. Now, the NX, we've heard this might be coming out next year.
Yes.
What do you think about this? That it feels now that Nintendo... First of all, we don't know what the NX is still. We don't even know if it's a console. We know it's something,
right.
And it's not a digital thing anymore. It's got to be something if they're on about shipping.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I hope would happen. We get news of it in the new year.
Yeah.
And I reckon it will be released Christmas time 2016.
I'm expecting it's going to be released in Christmas time. Okay. Just by how much we've heard about it, where they're on about they're expecting sales, shipping figures of over 20 million.
Yeah.
By Christmas next year. No offense, if you're shipping it to retailers by then, I'm expecting you to be selling it.
What I've not liked about the NX is that it's very plain to see that the Wii U is taking even a nastier hit because of it, because now it seems like a lot of game developers now, like first party Nintendo game developers, are now working towards games on the NX, because right now it's been this end of the year has been the time for spin-offs, reusable asset games. You know, we've had even on the 3DS we've had the Zelda Triforce Heroes, which is using assets from Link Between Worlds, and just making it a multiplayer game.
Now, I know we've had conversations about the Wii U quite often, and now that we've got an idea that the NX is more than likely going to be coming out Christmas next year, we've got a feeling that the Wii U is at its end now, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's heartbreaking to say that, but it's not. I would say this has been a failure.
It's had an okay run. I
Nintendo.
don't think it's as bad as everyone paints it as. Everyone thinks it's like the worst thing ever, and
It's not the worst thing ever. The worst thing ever was the Virtual Boy.
That's. I mean, I've seen points where people compare it, Virtual Boy to Wii U, and I'm thinking, geez, it's not that fucking bad.
I think with what happened with the Wii U though, it wasn't.
It had a bad start.
It was
now it's
Nintendo
got a
doing
bad
stupid
end.
things. It wasn't the console's fault. It was Nintendo doing stupid things that affected it in the media.
A lot of things I can remember, because it's kind of like a history repeating itself. It reminds me a lot of the Sega Dreamcast, because Sega made loads of mistakes beforehand.
Yeah.
And the Dreamcast was a fantastic console, but because of Sega's stupid decisions, it got canned.
So anyway, Billy, thank you for joining me for your top
That's
5.
right.
I'm looking forward to the next year. We're more than likely going to be talking quite a lot about the NX and the end of days of the Wii U.
It won't be called the NX probably, but next year probably be something else.
What name would you like it to be called? I've got a feeling it's going to have Wii in it.
As long as it doesn't have Wii in the title, I think Nintendo's learned their lesson on that one. It's going to call it New U.
It's the new Wii U.
If they call it the New U, that's what I can imagine them doing. New U. You knew. New U.
So Billy, again, thank you for joining me for this top 5. Thank you all for listening to this top 5 as well. We will be back on Tuesday. It will be for the next one. Who will it be? Nobody knows.
Well, we don't know yet.
I think it's Dot. No, it's not Dot. I think it's Ryan, actually. Nobody knows.
No, you.
Thank you for
Actually, respond to that rule.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
and remastered rules there. Well, you got to think a remaster, in my opinion, is a game that you've already played.
Yeah, but what about if you've never played the game before 2015? Because it was, say, okay. What about last year? We'd say Last of Us. I never had a PS3, so I wasn't able to play it.
Then yeah, I would say that you're allowed to do that. Yeah, as long as it's a game that it's the first time you've ever played it in 2015, you are allowed to use it. So if it's a remaster, but you've